Alright, so what's up you guys, this is your boy Danchou, and for today I wanted to make a video where I talk about a pretty fresh event that has found its way onto Granblue Fantasy, and that is the Tower of Babyl. Now this event can be pretty intimidating for people who aren't really too sure on what's going on with it. So I figured I'd make a video covering this event altogether, as I've done so for previous events as well. In this video I will talk about certain things about this event that you really want to know before going into it, as there's quite some information to this event that the game won't tell you clearly, even though the event itself is pretty straightforward. So hopefully this video will make it clear for the people who aren't too sure about how this event works, and everyone can have fun with it from here. Now just before I do dig into this video, I just wanted to say that if you do enjoy Granblue Fantasy or Granblue Fantasy Versus content, then you might want to consider hitting that sub button, as I do cover both games. I try to keep you guys updated with everything as fast as possible surrounding these games, so any support is appreciated. Now with all the typical YouTuber talk out the way, let's get into the video. I think a nice start to this video will be the general information regarding this event. The Tower of Babyl is a recurring limited time event where you fight bosses on each floor, and as you beat them you progress a level higher, which in this case will be referred to as climbing the tower. You can swap between a total of 3 different parties during the battles that you will be doing, which I'll explain a bit more in depth later on in this video. And furthermore, just like any other event, loot can be obtained by clearing quests and completing missions that are part of the event. The event itself is, I guess, somewhat fairly new, so as of now more floors will be added each time the event comes back, unless noted otherwise. Now that we know the general information about the event itself, I'd like to take some time for the newer players to explain what they should be trying to aim for right out the gate, right before I go in depth on explaining the event itself. So if you are a beginner, make sure to listen carefully here. As a beginner, your main goal should be to try and clear as many floors that you reasonably can. It's not something that you want to sleep on, as it does give some nice rewards for the effort that you put in. However, as a beginner you will definitely hit a wall at some point, which is no problem at all. That just means that you did what you have to do this time around. After that, you can focus on completing the levels that you couldn't clear now when the event itself returns, so no worry if you currently aren't strong enough to clear the event itself. A quick tip that I do want to give to beginners is that you should use the continue option for the multi-wave battle, as this will help you clear the levels a little bit easier so you can obtain the first clear reward if possible. And I will explain more about the continue mechanic later on in this video, so make sure to stick around for that. So for any beginners out there that are looking at this video right now, make sure to put that knowledge in your pocket and enjoy the event for what it is. And with the beginner focused information discussed, I want to talk a little bit more about the progression in this event, aka climbing the tower. It's rather a straightforward event, and climbing the tower kind of already speaks for itself on how it's intended to function. You can go on to the next floor by clearing the quest on the floor that you currently are sitting at. By defeating the boss of the current layer, you would progress on to the next one, or in other words, you climb your way up. A new layer will be added every run of the event, so if you do run out of layers this time around, then the next time this event returns you can look forward to clearing another with all your might. The quest and mission progress will be carried over for future runs, so you won't have to climb the tower all over again if the event returns on a later date. But to clear these layers you will have to set up your parties, and that will bring me over to the next topic where I discuss how parties work in this event. Now parties are kind of interesting in this event, as it doesn't completely work the same as what you're used to regularly when playing the game. Then again, it's not something completely crazy either. It just has a few rules and tweaks here and there that you must follow during this event to make it all work out. And to explain this system a little bit better, you can form up to a total of 3 parties, where one of your party will be your main party and the other 2 would serve as your sub parties to tackle this event with. Each party that you do have set up for this event will share the same equipment and summons, and no sub allies are allowed either, so keep that in mind when you're building your parties for this event. Furthermore, your main party will be formed by the main character, which will be Jida or Gran, and 3 other characters, so nothing new here, and this party will also be directly the first party to battle in a quest. The main characters themselves can only take part in your main party, so you can't swap out your Jida and Grans even if you wish to do so at any given time. Then you have your sub parties, which are formed with 4 characters each that excludes your main character, and for each quest those sub parties will work as reserve parties. They will only fight in battle when the main party is knocked out or when you decide to switch your characters around, which will be called switching battle members. I can imagine that switching battle members might sound a bit confusing at the moment, as it's not something that you frequently do in this game. So to give a little bit more context, I will go in depth on that mechanic too. The way switching battle members works is that you can switch out your active characters with characters from your sub party by tapping the button dedicated for switching battle members. Your battle members can be switched as many times as you would like, but once you do switch, then they can be switched out for the next 3 turns once switched. There is one restriction for switching your battle members members however, and that is that you can't switch battle members whilst a character is transformed into a larger form. And a good example for this will be Light Nicholas. All in all, it's a pretty neat mechanic for this event. Now with our knowledge up to date on how parties work and how to switch out our characters, we can take a look at how battles will go down from this event. All battles in this event are solo battles, which means that you won't be able to ask for backup on any of the fights that you will have to face during this event, which is probably a good piece of information for beginners, as beginners tend to rely on this a bit more than advanced players. Then we will have to talk about how summons and skills work in battle, as there are some things to note for this event. For example, regarding your summons. Your summons can be called even if neither the main character or Lyria is in your current party, which normally wouldn't work as you need either of the two to use your summons in raids outside of this event, but we can ignore this rule this time around. But do note that your summons can't be called if either your main character or Lyria is knocked out, so that does work like you're used to. That said, summons can be called if Lyria is in your reserve party. Then we have our support skills, and the support skills that normally activate whilst a character is a sub-ally now takes effect when the character is in a reserve party. Support skills that activate when a sub-ally character becomes a main ally will now only take effect when the character switches into fight in battle. Furthermore, we have the reserve party status, as the status of your characters will be saved if they are switched out with a reserve party, so think about your HP, your charge bar, skills that have been used, buffs and debuffs and so on. Those won't magically go away or reset, but they will be identical to the point when you swap the characters out. And you might be wondering, now that you have like 3 parties to go into a fight with, how does one lose a quest? A quest will only be considered failed when all 3 parties are knocked out, so that is pretty easy and straightforward to keep in mind. Then there is one more mechanic to this event, and that is the continue mechanic that I mentioned before. I'd like to explain that in more detail so you guys are ready to tackle this event as a whole. The continue mechanic is pretty simple, as it allows you to resume a quest from the wave you retreated from earlier if you did retreat from wave 2 or later in your previous challenge. There is no limit to the number of times you can continue a quest, but anything done in battle such as damage dealt or debuffs inflicted to both foes and allies will be reset each time. This does mean that the flawless completion cannot be obtained if you do use the continue mechanic, nor will it count towards any of the mission requirements either. Then at last, you might be wondering what those requirements are, because we do have some requirements that we will need to meet if you want to quote unquote master a quest. A quest is only considered mastered when all of the requirements for the quest are met. There are a total of 3 requirements, and those requirements include the following: getting the first time completion, getting the flawless completion, and at last clearing all the missions available on the quest itself. An area is only considered mastered when all quests in the layer itself are mastered as well. And with that piece of information shared, we have come at the end of this event's guide. Now this video covered pretty much all your Tower of Babel needs and knowledge that you need to have understood to complete this event. Hopefully you guys will now understand this event better and found the information I gave today helpful. If you guys do feel like you want more guides like this, then I'll gladly make more videos for other events in game. So let me know in the comments down below if that is of any interest. And if you guys want more help from me directly, or just feel like joining a place where you can meet more GBF players to talk about the game and have fun, then I do recommend joining my Discord, which I'll provide the link for down below in the pinned comment. So that was it for today guys, it was your boy Danchou, stay healthy, stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.